Greetings guys, it's Sid. I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk to you about data visualization and different options for visualizing data. So they say around 90% of the world's data was only produced in the last 2 years. And when you think about that stat, you become to realize that all of us are producing data. So if you're using apps, if you're using Google, you're using Microsoft apps, you're using Facebook, you're using Instagram, or whether you're even ordering food, anything that you do on your mobile phone creates a data point. And more data is being produced globally around the world. Now, what does that mean? Essentially for businesses, that means they've got a huge, vast library of data that's growing exponentially, and they need some solutions and technologies to analyze and visualize that data. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about different options when it comes to visualizing data. So I'm going to give you 5 options which allow you to visualize data. These are using apps, tools, and frameworks which exist today that you can apply in your roles or in your businesses. So without any further delay, let's make a start. So there was a recent report by IBM which stated that 80% of all the world's data by 2025 will be unstructured. What does that mean? Essentially, only 20% of the world's data is actively being used. So that means another 80% essentially is stored away. They're never accessed, they're rarely seen, they've never really been analyzed. So businesses all around the world today are needing to analyze their data. And for that reason, hiring en masse loads of data analysts, data scientists, and engineers. Now, all this data is sat in locations which aren't easily accessible, and for many people volume of data is huge. So you could be dealing with data stores which are in the gigabytes or terabytes, which is more common now. Visualizing huge volumes of data becomes hard when you use them in spreadsheets, but when you start to open them up with visualization tools, it becomes a completely different game. So here are 5 different tools which will allow you to visualize data, and these are 5 tools which you can access today and apply to your business or your projects. So let's make a start. So tool number 1, and one of the most obvious ones, is using a business intelligence tool like Tableau or Power BI. So Tableau and Power BI have been around almost 10 years now, 10 years or more, and they're used pretty much by every single business you can think of. Now these 2 tools have gained huge market share, no matter what industry you look at, whether it's healthcare, consumer goods, banking, tech. Every one of these industries is pretty much proliferated by one of these 2 BI tools. Now what I love about Tableau and Power BI is that they are off-the-shelf solutions. What does that mean? It means basically you can download them and plug them straight in and connect them to any data source that you have. Whether it's a database, a spreadsheet, or even a text file, you can analyze data using Tableau or Power BI seamlessly. Both tools have rich functionality and have a low, shallow learning curve for users. One of my very first jobs was in using Tableau, so I can recommend Tableau as a great tool to learn, but Power BI also delivers the same results. Both tools are relatively inexpensive. Power BI costs around $10 to $15 a month. Tableau, on the other hand, costs a little bit more, about $50 a month, but both tools allow businesses to visualize their data no matter the size of the volume. Tableau and Power BI are great reporting solutions. More and more companies are using them to produce dashboards, and more companies are using Tableau and Power BI to allow their staff to discover and go through a journey of self-discovery when it comes to data. Tool number 2 is one you may not realize, and that's JavaScript and JavaScript libraries. So we have a number of JavaScript libraries which are used popularly across the data science and web development community, and a few of these which are worthwhile mentioning are React.js, Vue.js, and D3.js. Now React is one of the more popular ones. Whenever you come across a really rich website online, it's very likely it's been built in JavaScript. Now JavaScript is one of the core web languages, the other being HTML and CSS. JavaScript libraries are open source, you can access them for free, and JavaScript is a very rich language and a very efficient language in visualizing data and producing graphics online or on web applications. One of the most popular JavaScript libraries is React. React is a super popular library. It's used by a number of startup companies, a number of tech companies, and React allows you to visualize data in a huge number of colors, arrays, formats, and various options. So React.js is another very popular tool for visualizing data. It's highly recommended, especially if you want to pick up JavaScript. I recommend React. Another popular library I recommend, similar to React, is D3.js. D3.js is a very popular library for visualizing data online and via web applications. I highly recommend that you guys check it out, especially if you're building your own web application or if you're building an app that needs a rich user interface, especially one that requires a dashboard. So check out JavaScript, guys. It's highly recommended if you're wanting to build and become a software engineer and build your own web applications. Now, what I will say about JavaScript is that JavaScript is a coding language and one which you need to learn if you wanted to code and visualize data using a JavaScript library. JavaScript, generally speaking, is considered a bit more difficult to learn than, say, learning Python or SQL. So you're going to have to invest some time if you want to master the art of producing visuals and data visuals using JavaScript libraries. The other point of note is that JavaScript libraries like React, like Vue, like D3 are all used today in a number of different tech stacks. So whenever you see a startup like a mobile app, or whether it's a fintech or a business that's created a digital product, most likely they're using a tech stack, and that tech stack is going to be one of several different tech stacks, but more likely than not they'll have React in their tech stack. One of the most popular tech stacks is the MERN tech stack. MERN is short for MongoDB, which is a backend database, Express.js, React.js, and then Node.js, which is also the backend system as well. So there's a number of different tech stacks, and many of them are predominantly dominated by JavaScript libraries. Number 3 is to use a Python library. So many of you know about Python already. Python is a popular coding language. What many people don't realize is that Python can be used to visualize data as well. So there's a number of popular Python libraries that allow you to visualize data. I'll mention a few right now. You've got Seaborn, you've got Plotly, you've got Matplotlib, you've got ggplot, you've got Pandas. The list is endless. Some of the most popular libraries used to visualize data in Python. Now, the great thing you can do with Python is you can self-explore your data. So if you're looking to produce a dashboard or a visual which you can access, you can do that within the Python language, within your IDE, or within an application like Jupyter. However, if you want to then export that and package that up into an application like a website, you need to use a framework. You've got a couple of frameworks that allow you to do that using Python. So the first is Streamlit. Streamlit is a very popular application. It's an open source application that allows you to package up any Python code and then build data visualizations off the back of that. Another popular one is Dash by Plotly, another very similar to Streamlit. It allows you to create dashboards as well. And then finally, you've got 2 web frameworks which are very popular in the world of Python. One of them is Flask and the second one is Django. Now, both of these allow you to create web applications end-to-end using the Python language and allow you to essentially build, test, and deploy a Python app that visualizes your data with a rich GUI, rich front end. So guys, Python is fantastic for visualizing data. It can be used not just to explore data and visualize data within your own code editor, but it can also be used to export your visuals and package it up using a nice rich library or framework. And I go back to my point in previous videos, it's definitely worth learning Python, not just for data science, not just for engineering, but for data visualization as well. And the fourth option when it comes to visualizing data is to use a cloud-based visualization application. So many of you are familiar with cloud computing. More and more companies are moving to the cloud. More and more companies are storing their data on the cloud. So when it comes to cloud computing providers like AWS, you have Amazon QuickSight. Amazon QuickSight is a very popular in-platform app that allows you to visualize your data. If you've got data stored on S3 buckets, you can use Amazon QuickSight to build really rich dashboards and data visualizations to tell a story or to analyze your data in a visual manner. Similarly to QuickSight, when it comes to Microsoft's Azure cloud platform, they have the Azure Data Visualizer. Very similar, it allows you to build visualizations using stores of your data that you already have on a cloud server. And then finally, the equivalent in Google is Google Looker. Now, Looker at one point was a third-party product, but has since been acquired by Google and incorporated into Google Cloud Platform. So if you're storing data on the cloud or you're building an application and you've got a cloud-first strategy, you want to utilize and explore QuickSight, Azure Data Visualizer, and Google Looker to visualize your data and share those visualizations with your colleagues, your team members, or your customers and clients. And number 5, guys, last but not least, is Excel. So many people are familiar with the kind of visual capabilities you have in Excel, but to this day, very few people realize you can actually create dashboards entirely in Excel. And these dashboards can be put into production, they can be scaled and deployed and shared with stakeholders, colleagues, clients, or customers. In fact, one of my very first creations as a data analyst was an Excel-based dashboard. And to this day, the Excel dashboard that I created for a client many years ago is still in use. Excel is fantastic for creating data visualizations, especially when you add additional functionality with slices, pivot tables, and pivot charts. You can then slice and dice your data really quickly and really easily. You can even use COUNTIF formulas and SUMIF formulas to create visuals as well, which are entirely dynamic and allow the user to kind of shape and create their own visuals based off a spreadsheet file. On the point of Excel-based dashboards, I'm actually creating my very first course on Skillshare, and I'll announce that very soon with more details to follow. Right guys, and that concludes my 5 top tools and recommendations for visualizing data. Whether you're a data analyst or whether you're looking to create your own very first app, whether you're looking to serve a client with a reporting solution, there's so many options out there for you now when it comes to data visualization. And data visualization is often the very first start for many people when it comes to data science. I highly recommend you check those options and tools out for yourself, for your projects, for your own businesses. Data visualization is still got a long way to go. Many businesses and many companies have huge volumes of data that they are not able to access. Data visualization is the key to the door in being able to access and view that data. So I highly recommend, guys, you learn all the different options out there when it comes to data visualizations. You'll need them one day because you may be asked to deploy an application or a dashboard solution for different clients and stakeholders all over the world. And more importantly, being able to access your own data is very important. So using different tools to do so will really help you along your journey. Guys, if you like this video, then please do check out some of the other content and videos I've put out there on this channel. I've got a number of different topics that I cover, including career advice, how to analyze data using Python, how to code in Python, how to prepare for interviews, all sorts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you on a future video. Take care.